and with money you can make more money, and if you've got money, you can buy things that you want. I could buy this Rolls Royce, something like that. Lovely.
Oh, hello. Well, I hope you're having a lovely day. And so to give me a quick one, I'm already 5 minutes over, because I'm on another system now, so I'm on a different computer. And I've basically taken all that away over there, so I do apologise for my delays. Oh, look, I've got the chat up. Oh, let's get that down. Okay, well, let's have it on there. Okie dokie, so here we go. I hope everybody is well, and we've got Snowflake Show today. Oh, the Snowflake Show, yes, that'll be on after this. Don't worry, I'm not overlapping you, Reagan. So who have we got here today? So I've got a chat up here now, look, see that? Oh my god, it's not even lined up, look at that. Oh, terrible, oh my god. Ain't I useless? Well, I want to talk about renting, yeah. Because, there's been a bill going through today, and it's, there you go. So who we got here? Yeah, it's a bill going through today, which is, some people should be a little bit concerned and some people not so, but I think the landlords are going to be, pooping themselves, to be fair. Because the no-fault evictions are going to be no more. Yeah, section 21. Now, for some people, we're going to say, well, that's great. We can't be making people homeless now, but I think it's more complicated than that. Obviously, it is. We can't have either, really, be honest, because we need. Not all landlords are big landlords, are they? They're not all like hundreds of properties. Now, I've worked in the industry. Yeah, I've done maintenance on these properties, and some of them are diabolical, and some of them are really good landlords, that is. So anyway, here we got in the chat. Oh, we've got 91 leads, P. Dallas, right, you got a lead, hello there. I know you're getting ready for the Snowflake Show, aren't you, buddy? And P. Dallas, hi, chat, you're at 91 leads. Kool-Aid, hello, Kool-Aid. And Alistair Care, Casper Northerner, hi. Well, hi all in the chat, says Alistair. So, yeah, there's been a bill being introduced into Parliament today called the Renters Reform Bill. Now, I'm a bit dark. I'm looking a bit dark, aren't I? And I've just changed everything about. And on a different camera, on the camera that had sync issues before, but it is a better quality camera. But it doesn't look that great at the moment. It looks underexposed. But let me just increase that a little bit, make it a bit brighter, a little bit. Oh my god, better. No, I'll just increase the sharpness. That's not what I wanted. Compensation, there you go. That's a little bit better. But anyway, we'll sort it out later. Can't worry about the moment in time, because I'm already running over, aren't I? Like an idiot. But that's me. So, hello, bitch. So I want to talk about, in the short time that I've got, like I say, a little bit of a test really, if anything, and see what's going on. Now, where is my stuff gone? That was on the screen, and now it's all disappeared. That's about right. Now, there we are. Found it. So there is a bill going through Parliament, and what it's going to do is stop no-fault evictions. There's other things in there as well to protect landlords, but mainly to protect the tenants, which I get that. And if you live in France, for instance, you're renting in France, the fact is that the rules here are quite strict. Is it a bit loud? It might be a bit loud. Ooh, I don't know. It might be a bit close. So I just changed everything about. So I'm on my main computer now. So I upgraded it a few weeks ago, the main computer, and it's kind of like, hey, cheers, buddy, gifting memberships. All those people got ex-memberships, gifted 5 memberships. Cheers, Alistair. I wish I had that work, to be honest. I have a clue. What's all those gifted memberships about? I didn't know. But anyway, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Section 21s going in the next week or so. And the people that I've spoke to, when I was in the building game back in the UK, I used to do a lot of work for Abbott's letting agents and various other companies, but also builders and that as well, who own properties. And I used to do a lot of maintenance works. My company used to do a lot of maintenance works on from roofs to all sorts of stuff. And there were some landlords might have shitty properties, but they always did the repairs. But then there were some landlords that were absolutely useless, and usually they're the ones going for agents. They were the worst, absolutely the worst. Abbott's letting agent, absolutely terrible payers. You know, you'd have to wait for your money and that, which just makes, you know, builders like me, we didn't want to sod you then, we can pay your work out, we'll do that job instead. So that was kind of the scenario for where, you know, from where I was working. And I used to work for this other guy who, Mr. Gotts, his character he was. And he had a lot of properties, hell of a lot of properties. He started sort of, he had a bit of money, he inherited a bit of money, and basically he'd bought loads and loads of properties when they were cheap. And this guy was unscrupulous with his methods, but he always looked after the properties, and the properties went down. If there's a problem, he generally would sort it out. He got us in there and would do our best to sort the problem out. He was pretty good, and all his properties were mainly social lets. So he was guaranteed his money every single month. That's why he liked it. He had a lot of properties, and collecting money on a lot of properties is costly. So he puts it in the hands. I don't know what system it is now, but at the time he put it in the hands of the council basically, and you just have to meet all the bare requirements and not be funny, but the rules were quite tight, quite tough. Like for instance, he would have to make sure there was like chicken wire in between all the floors and stuff, which means you've got to completely reboard the ceilings and put fireproof boards in and replaster all the ceilings and stuff like that. There were a lot of rules and fire door rules and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of stuff you have to do, but private landlords, they don't have to do all that. So although the properties were basic, just magnolia paint everywhere, you know what I mean? It's just really, really basic properties, but they were sound. And if something he'd do, he'd do it, whether it be the gas or, you know, whatever he'd do, he'd do it. So I would say he was kind of quite a good landlord, and although the property was pretty shit, but anyway, he looked after the properties in the sense that what had to be done to make sure that there was always hot water, everything worked, there wasn't damp in the bathrooms, all that sort of stuff. The windows always new, you know, new windows, and everything was done, you know. But they were basic, really basic properties. But also, we used to do a lot of work for private landlords, and some of these landlords were. They just bought, you know, they bought a property, and they might have moved into it, but their old property, the one they were living in, they might rent it out. And those landlords, they had a better relationship with their clients, with the actual tenants. Not every case, but the ones that I had to work with, I found that they're always very, very good, and they were rapid because the tenant had a direct contact with the landlord, and they're not always going to be good, obviously. But with how things are now, with the cost of living crisis, obviously, interest rates going through the roof, making it almost impossible for landlords to pay their mortgages from what they were getting on the rents. They're caught between a pillar and post, and some landlords are they'll sell the properties, but are actually doing Section 21s to get the tenant out, so they get a new tenant in under the new rate, which is immoral. But in some cases, they ain't got a choice. What they do, because they ain't got enough money coming in to pay the mortgage on the property. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not giving the old little violin, maybe it's a little violin, you know, the world's smallest violin. But not everybody, not all landlords are going to be come in here, like for instance in 2008, 2009, doing the property, the financial crash, buying up shitloads of properties for pittance and just renting them out. You know, basically profiteering other people's misery. And I've worked with people like that, and they were the worst. No connection whatsoever with their tenant, none whatsoever. No emotional connection. Now I think that's the key. You need some kind of emotional connection. But when you've got 100 properties, some cases 200 properties, blooming fly. Oh, I hate flies. 200 properties, how many properties they might have? There's no hope in hell they're going to have any kind of emotional connection with that property or the actual tenant themselves. And those properties generally weren't very managed very well, and often they can't get people in at the same time. Sometimes they're trying to do all the maintenance themselves. They have a small maintenance firm, basically their own firm, doing the maintenance work. A couple of vans or something. They can't keep up with it. They just can't keep up with it. And it's like with these people, one man van man, what's it? A jack of all trades, master of none. And I've seen it so often. For instance, the people who put my flipping internet in this house. Oh my god, that's shoddy workmanship. You ought to see it. the guy from Orange, I'm in France, right? The guy from Orange, he came along and he basically stuck. Yeah. I'm just making sure I got sound. I hope I got sound, okay? Let me talk to myself, am I? You know what I'm like? But yeah, basically, he got a flipping glue gun, you know, one of them hot melt glue guns, and he stuck the wire in a big loop. I know it can't be bent or anything like that, but in a big loop to the box, and the box it's underneath there. It's even that's on the wonk. And then the wall goes inside. He's clipped it to the wall into lime plaster, into lime mortar, and all the clips are worn out. God's sake! And then he put a screw eye. I thought, oh God, I want to go back in my hand because he's just like, oh, what the hell is he doing? Look, this house. This house is oak, right? It's pretty much all oak. And there he is, trying to hand screw in a flipping screw eye into the end of one of the rafters to attach the cable, the fibre to, on a strainer wire. He's just trying to screw it straight in. No pilot hole, no nothing. There he was with a screwdriver trying to poke it inside the. But flipping that's hard, 200-year-old oak. No, he was there for ages. But anyway, yeah, I left him to it. Anyway, so this bill that's got coming. So I'm running out of time rapidly here. So which button is it? That one now, isn't it? I think. Oh, there you go. Property no fault evictions. This is in Yahoo Finance, but it's also other places as well. No fault evictions to be banned. Let's just bring that out a little bit there. To just scroll down. There we go. So landlords are set to be banned from evicting tenants from rented property without justification, as part of a long-promised overhaul of the private rental sector in England. So it's the Renters Reform Bill. Yeah, you got the Renters Reform Bill. Was going to basically come into Parliament today. It's to challenge, I think today or yesterday. It's to challenge landlords without losing their home. So you know that, for instance, during the pandemic, no fault convictions were banned, weren't they? Well, it looks like they're doing it permanently now. I kind of feel for some of the landlords now, actually, to be honest, because I've sort of worked in the game. I can see some of the problems are split the microphone down a bit, it's a bit high. I can see some of the problems and some of the things they face on almost daily basis. I'm talking about the good landlords, not the unscrupulous arsewipes. Excuse my French. But they've got mortgages on a lot of these properties. So mortgage would be mortgage, use the property equity from the existing property to get the next property so you can rent that out, and blah, blah, blah. And it goes on. You could argue, okay, they're taking properties from the market, and also it's pushing up the price of the properties, but the properties are already expensive, and first-time buyers can't get themselves on the property market anyways, but they still need a house. So we're sort of like in a rock and a hard place here. Now, you could argue that we need a major reset, and I think we probably do. If a property crash is on the cards, maybe that is what we need. But a lot of people will not be able to. We end up with bankruptcies because a lot of people got mortgages and there'll be no equity in the property and no way of paying the mortgage. So they'll lose homes. Blah, blah, blah. It's horrible. So there's no winners here, really. But would there be in the future? That's the point, I suppose. If there was a property crash, as long as you've got a decent government in place, they can actually manage it. Not like this flipping lot of useless. Can't say it. But anyway. So the law is going to make it pretty much illegal for a landlord to refuse tenancies to families with children. All those, this thing jumps around all over the place. Come on, here we go. Let's get on that over there. That's better. The families with children or those in receipt of benefits. Now, the bill is to be introduced to Parliament today as it's set to require privately rented homes to meet the decent home standard. Now, I get that, a decent home standard. Who is going to be going around vetting these properties and saying it's a decent home? We can't even check the meat coming into the country. How are we going to do this? This is pie in the sky stuff. It's not going to happen. It just sounds good. You're going to need you're going to need a building regulation people, aren't you? Yeah, again. How many civil servants we need for that? So, tell Jake Rees-Mogg, he'd be happy about that. So, I think a lot of the stuff they come up with is just lip service, isn't it? Their notice periods will be reduced where renters have been irresponsible. So this is where the protections come in for the landlord. So if they're damaging the property, for instance, but they can who's vetting this? Who is this going to be a huge amount of cost for the landlord? not all landlords are wealthy. Some of them just do it to pay their mortgage. You know, they might have 2 properties. Now, I'm not talking about holiday homes, obviously. Their notice periods will be reduced where renters have been irresponsible, for example, by breaching their tenancy agreement or are causing damage to the property, according to the government. No fault or Section 21 evictions allow landlords to take back possession of their tenants, from their tenants without giving a reason. So it sounds really, really unreasonable. In many cases, that's what time we got. In many cases, it is unreasonable. I've seen it myself so many times. But a friend of ours, for instance, who actually moved back to the UK now, but they used to live here, France. They used to live in the UK. And in London, they had a flat. South African couple. Anyway, they moved to France, lived with the in-laws, with his missus' father. And they needed a property. They've got 2 little kids, you see, so they needed a home. But they got a flat in the UK, which they were renting out. Now, they had to do a Section 21. But the tenants were really good. They were good tenants. So they were saying they were no trouble. So they were good tenants. So the tenants went to the council, say we're going to be made homeless because blah 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 blah. Well, the council told them stay put, don't move, stay put, wait until you are evicted. Well, that whole process costs our friends who aren't rich people. It's the only property they had. It's not as though they had 2 properties or 3 properties. No, they're still a landlord, but it's the only property they had. It was their family home, and because they emigrated to France and they wanted to buy a property here, they needed to sell their property in the UK. Anyway, they were advised to stay put, and as such, they had to get a barrister involved. So the whole legal process had to be instigated, obviously Section 21 and all that. But it took a long while because they refused to move, because that's what the advice they were given, because then they'll be made homeless. And if they've been made homeless, they can get themselves on the council list really easily. So it's... I think we need more... This to be thought through properly. I don't think they have. I just see we're going to have a huge amount of people, all of a sudden, landlords, looking at a way out. They're going to jump ship. They've already said that. Landlords are already saying it now. So it's but we've got crikey. The situation's so bad at the moment regarding families and what have you, and kids that they don't have a home. Like this was on the 25th of July. Just get this up for you so I can show you. I do apologise, but I've got a really bad sore throat at the moment. That's what happens when you have family come over. They give you bugs. So the number of households in temporary accommodation in England is at the highest since records began as charities call on out-of-touch government, which it certainly is, to ban no-fault evictions and accelerate social house building. Well, the no-fault evictions, they're going to do that. But I think there's nuance here that needs to be looked at. Now, the accelerate social house building. These Tories do not want social houses. No. They don't want social houses because they cost money. Most people living in social houses are getting rent relief of some description, if universal credit and all that. The rent has been partially paid for by the government, especially if it's a private one. If it's a social housing, this might be fully paid by the government. The taxpayer, I should say, actually. But they don't want social housing. They don't want to build social housing. They don't want the responsibility of it. They're not going to do it. They also don't want to build houses. No. They just want to titillate the housing market. That's what they want to do. Just build enough houses just to satisfy the demand, just to artificially keep the prices high. Why else did they bring the flipping interest rates down so low for a long period of time? It pushed up the prices of the properties because obviously the money was cheap. Now, back when my missus bought her first house, it was £17,000. The average wage at the time was I think it was 16,000. No, it was 16,000. Oh, was it 9,000? Anyway, that was it. No, it was 9,000. So about twice what her actual wages, or what the average wage was. interest rates at the time were about 15%, quite high, but the prices were low. Now, going with inflation, what you got at the moment over a period of time, the property would be about 80,000, 90,000. That's what it should be. But because house price inflation is so flippin' high, it's disproportionate to inflation. Inflation, say for instance, they aim at 2%, don't they? So it's what they aim for, 2%. Yet house price inflation is at 15%. Where's the logic in that? No wonder the house prices are going up, and it basically push people out of the market, because you need two people to work for a start. One person loses a job, you lose your house. Is this by design? So the rich buggers make more money? Anyway, I haven't looked at the chat, have I? Oh no, the chat. Oh, there it is. Look at the chat. Everybody look at the chat. We're in the chat. Where's the chat? Oh, there's my chat. So, let's go down again. I saw a super chat. Where is it? Oh, Alistair Care. Alistair Care. Sorry. Did they block the Fit for Human Habitation Bill in 2015, 2016? I don't actually know, mate, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I wouldn't be a bit surprised at all. But it looks like this new bill does kind of cover that. It's under Michael Gove, if you know what he's like, quite frankly. I don't know how they're going to police it. That's my point, though. So, Joe Marios, a few dollars. I love the sea. Oh, I love the sea too. I got my day skip and my yacht masters. Oh, they were the days. You just get wet. But the heat kills me now, says Joel. And I can only go to the beach early morning and late afternoon, almost night. During the work weeks, it's impossible. Yeah, it's very, very warm. But in Portugal, mate, it must be, whew, crikey. Tom Finney! Tom Finney. Oh, dear. Oh, the Range Rover. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I might have been stereotyping a bit there, but what I was actually referring to is the so-called democratic decision of the British people. I wasn't actually... At the time, I wasn't actually referring to this geezer, but he did actually look like the geezer from, Right Said Fred. He had, crikey, like a Levi top on. It was it was white. I think that's white, like a grubby white colour with, and he had gold-rimmed shades on. Oh, crikey. He had little spinning discs on that Range Rover. And Rebecca McDougall. Evening, everyone. Oh, crikey. I'm running out of time rapidly. How hot is it currently at yours, Joe Washington? It's blinking very hot. In the end, no one will own anything. Rent it all from one person, probably. Yeah, probably Taco Bell or something. Unless change is made. Yeah, well, we need some serious change. We really do. In the end, no one will be able to own anything unless the change is made. You're right, Genie Bottle. Kind of need a property crash, but then that'll take a lot of decent folk down with it. That's the problem. Hey, you don't say, sure. It's not trying to rush you, but in Snowflake Show, it starts in 5 minutes. I know. 3 minutes. It says 3 minutes there. 3 minutes. 2 minutes. No, 2 minutes. They stay well protected, Joel. Maros, hope you won't get any wildfires. No, crikey, I know. There's all these stupid people as well. Then you got the idiots going on about, wildfires caused through arson attacks, when the fact of the matter is we've got an environment ideal for wildfires, makes it even more dangerous. So, these people, that's Jimmy Savile. Who said Jimmy Savile? Jimmy Savile says stop smoke. Jimmy Savile can be sent in by the Tories to evict them with his pork sword. Oh my god, he's dead, thankfully. Yeah, it's just a reminder. Reagan. Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, don't forget. Let's go over to the Snowflake Show just in a moment. I've actually got a video going on in the morning. That's just one of our walk videos on the same topic. So in 10 minutes, we pretty much cover everything on there. To be honest, I'm really struggling to talk at the minute because I've got a really bad sore throat. But there you go. That's it. C'est la vie. Yeah, needs must. It's all about the greater good and all that. Is that the Snowflake Show? Okay, the good one. The Snowflake Show plans to start in 3 minutes. Anyone who wants to join them, here is the link. Nice one. Cheers, P does. They're not a lovely bunch of lads who do that. If anyone's here, haven't been there before, and it's really coming along. You know, it takes time with live stuff. It's for me, I find it, I really struggle with it. And I'll tell you what I need to practice on is telling a story. That's something I've really got to work on. Cause I think it's one of my biggest problems. I can sometimes sound a bit like a stuck record. Jimmy Savile going to be sent to the Tories. Agree. So this is a flying visit because I want to test. Can you tell me if does it sound okay? Is everything okay? The levels okay? Well, oh crikey! What about Kipper? Is that
And the way she does
really
it.
loud? I didn't hear it. Why didn't I hear it? Try it again.
And the way she does it.
Oh crikey! That's not Kipper. My samples all messed up. Anyway, I'm going to done. Oh, I just got a snog. I did off the missus, and I got a sore throat. You got it now, done. Can't be bad, can it? Only lucky. Oh, anyway, thanks for joining us for a very short. You know what? It's probably my shortest live, isn't it? Is it my shortest live? So yeah, it's Boris tells me so. Farewell, guys. Back soon. Is the audio okay? Because I will check. I will watch it and just suffer, I suppose, and watch it, and then see what it's like. So hopefully it's all good. Show's great. Yeah, it's good. Good show. Sound. Levels are a bit loud on that. Okay, so I need to mess about with my levels. The thing is, I'm going through the computer's. Oh god, they are loud and all. The computer's sound card. I might go back on the external sound card. A lot more control. Anyway, thanks for watching this for a very short period of time, about 25 minutes. And let's all head over to the Snowflake Show. Ta-ta. Oh, okay, just give you a port market.
In December, I'll be in Beijing, opening up new port